14, and this is a short chapter, so this is good. Now, what we just had was Rehoboam and Jeroboam and their story that we got in Kings, and Jeroboam had died. Abijah had then reigned for a while, and it starts with Abijah. It says, "So Abijah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. And Asa his son reigned in his stead. In his days the land was quiet 10 years." That means they had peace. I love the fact that it says in his days the land was quiet. "And Asa did that which was good and right in the eyes of the Lord his God." This is a good thing. He's having peace. Has that which is good. He does that which is good and right in the eyes of the Lord. One thing we have to remember is God doesn't just all of a sudden, or everything doesn't just have to be bad all of the time for people to be righteous. He's being righteous in good days as well. "For he took away the altars of the strange gods and the high places, and brake down the images, and cut down the groves." And in the footnotes, it just reminds us that it's idolatrous wooden objects associated with fertility worship. We've talked about that before, but I thought I'd just put that in there so we are familiar again with that in this context. "And commanded Judah to seek the Lord God of their fathers, and do the law and the commandment. And also he took away all of the cities of all of the cities of Judah, and the high places and the images, and the kingdom was quiet before him. And he builded fenced cities in Judah, for the land had rest, and he had no war in those years, because the Lord had given him rest. Therefore," and notice he didn't just sit back and go, "Yeah, we're doing fine. Nobody's attacking us." 10 years is quite a long time that you don't have any problems. And remember, this happens in the Book of Mormon as well, when Captain Moroni has a quiet period where they're not being attacked or anything. He doesn't just sit down, he starts to build up their defenses then. And we can do that in our own lives. There's times when we will not be facing big challenges. In those times we can build up our defenses. Read the scriptures more, do different things that will help bless your life. "And he had no word in those years, because the Lord had given him rest." Notice, it says because the Lord had given him rest. Although this is written, and the writers want you to know that he'd given him rest, I kind of feel Asa knew that the Lord had given him rest. "Therefore he said unto Judah, Let us build up these cities, and make them walls and towers, gates and bars, while the land is yet before us. Because we have sought the Lord our God, we have sought him, and he hath given us rest on every side." So they built and prospered. It's just it's good to see that Israel wasn't always attacked every single time, every single year. Remember that we're looking at quite a long history, hundreds of years, when we're talking about the kings. "And Asa had an army of men that bare targets and spears," targets meaning shields, "out of Judah 300,000, and out of Benjamin that bare shields and drew bows 280,000. All these were mighty men of valor. So he built up his army. Even though they're not being attacked, he knows the importance of being prepared. And there came against them Zariah the Ethiopian with an host of 1,000,000 and 60 chariots, and came to Marissa. So they had a big army. It sounds like a lot more than 1,000,000. Remember, these are not always exact. It seems kind of like they're mostly just saying there's a lot of people on all these accounts. Then Asa went out against him, and they set battle in array in the valley of Zeph and Marishah. And Asa cried unto the Lord his God, and said, Lord, is it nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power? He's kind of saying, we do have a pretty good army, but wouldn't you help either us with our army, or would you help if we had nothing? I think you'd still help us. O Lord our God, for we rest on thee, and in thy name we go against this multitude. O Lord, thou art our God. Let no man prevail against thee. Notice it didn't say against us. It said, let no man prevail against thee. He's putting his priority on the Lord. And if we can do that in our own lives and reflect God in our lives and see Him in what we do, He will bless us. It may be different in different ways, but He will bless us. So, O Lord, so the Lord smote the Ethiopians before Asa and before Judah, and the Ethiopians fled. We don't know how, but He smote them. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them into Gerar, and the Ethiopians were overthrown, that they could not recover themselves, for they were destroyed before the Lord and before his host, and they carried away much spoil. And they smote all the cities round about Gerar, for the fear of the Lord came upon them. Now I thought it was interesting, this. At first it sounds like those that they smote were fearful of the Lord, but read how it says it. For the fear of the Lord came upon them, and they spoiled the cities, for there was exceeding much spoil in them. The fear of the Lord was upon the Judah, upon the Jews, and upon the Benjaminites, that they, and remember, I've said this before, often when they put fear in there, I'd rather hear love or something else. They didn't fear him like, oh no, he's a vengeful, horrible God. They fear him with the love that they have. They go into this battle, they care about the Lord, they care about the covenants they've made with him, and he protects them. For the fear of the Lord came upon them, and they spoiled all the cities, because they had the power of the Lord with them. And they smote also the tents of cattle, and carried away sheep and camels in abundance, and returned to Jerusalem. So they ended up better off than they did before Ethiopia attacked. And remember, Ethiopia attacked first, so it was interesting that they just was able to take away much of the spoil. And that's an interesting start, and to see this, you don't get that in Kings that much about Asa, but here we got more, and to see that there was a beautiful time when there wasn't war, and then even when there was war, the Lord was with them because they turned to him during the peaceful times.